I'm Kyra and I'm a New Hampshire doula. I also serve parts in Maine, and today our topic is inductions. We're going to talk about what they are, why they're needed, non-medical reasons they are offered, and other topics of this. So inductions are very common. We probably all know this. But they're not always talked about with having a choice. So you do not have to have an induction if it's offered to you. My goal is to help you feel empowered, informed, and make sure you have the best possible choice that you want. So let's go over what an induction is. Induction is when labor is started manually. That means your body doesn't naturally go into labor. It is started by somebody else, either using Pitocin, balloons. Sometimes they'll pop your water with a hook that kind of looks like a crochet needle. It will not hurt. We're going to talk about now why they're suggested. Some inductions are medically necessary, so it is important that we do know this. You know, with it being so common and some people not needing it, there are people who do. Some reasons why a person would need it would be going past their gestational age. So typically they will not let you go past 42 weeks. That would become very concerning for everybody in the equation there. Some non-medical necessary reasoning would be provider scheduling. So we're not on everybody else's schedule. Please do not feel you need to have that because your provider says, oh, well, I'm not going to be in on this day. That had nothing to do with it. If you do not want an induction, you do not have to get one. Sometimes it states that it's hospital policy. Again, you have the right to bodily autonomy. You do not have to say yes. So let's talk about more in depth the medically necessary versus optional. It's going to be considered optional if it is not medically necessary. Some things to know. It does not have to automatically mean it is necessary if a doctor is offering it. So if a doctor says, hey, we think you should get an induction, that does not automatically mean it is medically necessary. You still have the right to say yes or no. Your rights to informed consent mean you understand the benefits of the procedure, the risks of the procedure, and the alternatives, because usually you will always have another choice. You can decline the induction again. You can ask for more continued monitoring. You can ask for other options, such as going home. You can go home, and if your water hasn't broken, this is important. You do not want your water broken. If anything's been broken yet, then no insert. We do not insert anything once that water has been broken. But if it hasn't been, go home and go to your bedroom and do your thing. Nipple stimulation, get on that ball, do your hip rolls, do all of the things to get that labor going. How do we decline an induction? Because this can be scary. You don't want to look at your provider and be like, hey, I don't want to do this. Sometimes that can be intimidating. And some providers, unfortunately, do make it seem like this is needed and we need to do this. And not always the case. So what can you say to a provider? One, you can say, is this induction medically necessary right now? So they can give you an explanation on your scenario, and it's going to be case to case. Not everybody is the same, so this is important you ask that question actually. What are the risks of waiting? So if you do not want to get that induction done, make sure you know the risks always. What other options do you have? So ask about the other options. If you don't know what you have on the table, it is important that you learn those things. You can also say, I'd like more time to think about this. It doesn't mean you have to make the decision right there and then. You can have time. You can give yourself time to educate yourself more, to make a better decision when you are calmer, and these things are important. Declining doesn't mean you're being difficult. It doesn't mean you're going against your doctor. It just means you're making an informed choice. An informed choice is always, always, always important. So do what's best for you. There are times when inductions can be life-saving, so we all need to be aware of that. But we also need to be informed and supported. Refusing care is fine, but it's also about choosing the correct care for you. There are more important things, such as feeling informed, respected, and supported. Education gives you options, and options give you power. Trust yourself, ask important questions, and do what's right for you and your body.